Welcome to Truth Thursday, a space where we unearth hidden truths, confront the unseen, and embrace the wisdom that often lies just beyond our reach. Today we offer you a glimpse into the world of Alexis, a central figure in the Beyond the Veil series. As we explore the subtle signs, powerful visions, and profound realizations that guide her journey of awakening. Are you ready to uncover the truth that awaits? In today's story, titled Breaking the Chains of Fear, we accompany Alexis on a day filled with divine guidance and profound insights. This is not merely a tale of the material world, but a journey shaped by the spiritual forces that influence her path. Through quiet moments and powerful visions, Alexis is reminded of her mission, to break free from the illusions that bind her and to awaken to the deeper truths of existence. Come along as we explore the remarkable experiences that define her journey. Now let's dive in. I woke up early, the soft light of dawn streaming through the window, gently coaxing me into wakefulness. It was my favorite time of day. The world still quiet, the air crisp, and the promise of new beginnings hanging in the atmosphere. I reached for the remote to turn on the news. It had become something I did every morning, just to catch up, to see what was going on in the world. But just as my fingers grazed the power button, something shifted within me. A clear message came through, as if it whispered directly into my mind by my spirit team. Do not watch. The news is being used to spread fear and keep the mind captive. I froze. The message hit me like a wave, firm yet gentle, like a protective hand on my shoulder. The thought unsettled me, more than I cared to admit. I'd always felt uneasy about the media's overstatement, but this was different. There was an urgency to it, a sense that watching the news would tether me to something I wasn't meant to carry. It was as if my soul could feel the weight of it, even before I fully understood. I put the remote down, feeling an unfamiliar sense of clarity, and decided to start my day differently. Maybe it was time for me to stop being passive and start listening to my inner guidance more intently. With Tank, my loyal little Yorkie, by my side, I grabbed his leash and stepped outside. The cool morning air brushed against my skin. The neighborhood was still waking up. The birds hadn't started singing yet, and the street felt deserted. Tank wagged as the leash eager to chase after a falling leaf, and I couldn't help but smile at his joy. As we walked, my mind wandered, but then something caught my eye, a sequence of numbers etched in chalk on the sidewalk, 444. I stopped mid-step, my heart skipping a beat. The number glowed faintly, not like earthly light, but a subtle divine energy that only I could feel. My breath caught in my throat. 444. I knew what it meant. It wasn't just a coincidence. It was a message, a reminder of protection and alignment, that I was not alone, that I was being watched over by forces unseen. Before I could fully process it, another vision overtook me. My senses seemed to blur, and suddenly I was no longer standing on the sidewalk. I was somewhere else, somewhere beyond the physical. I saw a figure, shackled by heavy gold chains around their ankles, the weight of them dragging them down. The chains were so heavy that each step was a struggle, every movement filled with effort, and yet they couldn't escape. I felt their exhaustion, their frustration, and then, with a sudden violent snap, the chains shattered, breaking into shimmering dust that shattered into the air. The image lingered in my mind, and before I could make sense of it, another vision followed immediately. A set of golden scales appeared before me, perfectly balanced, gleaming with radiant light. Despite the turmoil swirling around them, the scales remained unwavering, their equilibrium unshaken. I felt it deep within my chest, an overwhelming sense of clarity, as if everything suddenly fell into place. The scales were a symbol, a message, a beacon of balance in a world that felt anything but balanced. Then my spirit team spoke softly in my mind. Gold is meant to conduct energy, not control. It binds the greedy, yet frees the unawakened. Balance must be restored. The words sank deep into my soul, and I knew with clarity the dark ones had twisted the true purpose of gold and material wealth. In its purest form, gold was never meant to be hoarded or idolized. It was a conductant, a tool for growth, alignment, and spiritual connection. Yet the dark ones had perverted it, using it to enslave humanity. They turned it into a symbol of greed and power, distorting its original essence. The dark ones were not mere shadows lurking in the background. They were ether entities born from fear and manipulation, feeding off of the illusion of scarcity. They didn't want humanity to understand its true worth or recognize the potential inherent in every individual. They had crafted a world where material wealth was seen as a measure of success, keeping people from seeing their true wealth lies not in possessions, but in the ability to connect with the divine, the higher self, or the universe consciousness. Whichever path leads one to the realization of the oneness with all existence. In doing so, they kept humanity distracted and unaware of its boundless spiritual potential. I thought about the news, about the consistent push for material wealth, about the cycles of fear reinforced daily. It was all connected. The dark ones thrived on distractions, on keeping people disconnected from their true selves, from their higher purpose. The more people chased after wealth, the more they became trapped in illusions that kept them from waking up. As I walked back home, I couldn't shake the feeling that something profound was shifting. The vision had shown me a world where those chains, fear, greed, and control were breaking. Humanity was being called to seek balance, to reject the distractions that bound them. I was part of something much larger, something that had been set in motion long before I was born. The 444 was a reminder that I wasn't alone in this realization. Change was coming. It had already begun. As I reached my doorstep, Tank wagging his tail at my side, I felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted from me. The golden scales in my vision had settled my spirit. Balance was possible, even as the dark ones tried to hold onto their grip. I knew their power was fading. Humanity was waking up. People were beginning to rediscover the true values and their innate ability to break free from the chains. I closed my eyes, breathing deeply, and whispered a quiet prayer of gratitude. I didn't need the news to tell me what to think. I had my spirit team, my intuition, and now the undeniable truth that fear and greed could never chain a soul that chose to rise. The golden scales that tipped in favor of freedom, and the world was ready to awaken. As we wrap up this week's Truth Thursday, remember that the signs, visions, and truths Alexis encounter are not hers alone. They echo the potential within us all. Trust in your ability to see beyond the surface, to break free from the chains of fear, and to uncover the balance waiting within you. The quiet moments hold the keys to your awakening, and your journey is as sacred as the truths you uncover. Until next week, stay connected to your light and let it guide you forward.